What is up, you guys? Welcome to the Raider C podcast. This is your host, Cristopher Zamora. Welcome to another episode. So today I want to speak to you about Canelo versus Ryder. That was a really good fight. Man, what a fight it was. Not to take anything away from Ryder, but people might have thought that this fight was going to be an easy one for Canelo, since he was fighting him in Mexico, in Guadalajara, Mexico. He was fighting him on his home base. People thought that this was going to be an easy one, but no, it really wasn't. You had to give props to Ryder, man. He did a wonderful job fighting Canelo. You know, he actually did get dropped twice in the fight, but once he came back up from the second knockdown, he gave it his all, man. And that's what a true warrior does. A true warrior never gives up, no matter what it is. Like, not to get corny or anything like that, but like, this fight, it kind of reminded me of Rocky in a way, like the very first movie. If you guys have ever seen Rocky, Apollo Creed just gave a guy a chance. Like, he just came out of nowhere, right? And like, people really thought in that movie that it was a very close fight and that Rocky should have won. And you know, on Rocky 2, if you have seen it, you already know the outcome of that because they had a rematch. This fight kind of reminded me of that in a way. Ryder being Rocky and Canelo being Apollo Creed in a way. Because a lot of people weren't expecting him to be that great of a fighter. But he really is, man. Ryder is an awesome fighter. It sucks that he got a broken nose, man. And we don't know when he's going to come back to fight. People might have thought that this was an easy fight because Ryder has lost 5 times in his professional boxing career, and Canelo has lost twice. Usually, you always go with the person who has lost the least, and that's how people went with this fight. They weren't expecting it to be a very competitive fight. And you know, the crazy part is, man, Canelo does seems like he is not the same guy anymore. It sucks for me to say that, but I think it was true what Teddy Ellis was saying a few weeks back. He said he saw the fight between Canelo and Triple G, the trilogy one. He saw that fight and he saw that Canelo was actually degrading and he just wasn't the same guy. And now that I saw this fight, Canelo versus Ryder, I think he was telling the truth, man. Never mess with what Teddy Ellis has to say. Don't have to agree with him, but most of the things that he says, they are kind of true. I have to give it to him, man. He was right on the mark for Canelo. Canelo has been fighting since he was 15 years old, guys. If you did not know, now you know. Canelo has been fighting for a very long time. He's about 32 years old as of right now, and he's been fighting for over 15 years, boxing his way through, trying to support his family as much as he can. And he got to the top. And now it seems like his time, it might be up. Maybe we're going to get another fight between him and Bivol. But like, after that, I have no idea what can happen, man. If he cannot beat Bivol on the second match, damn. He's going to call it quits there. Or I don't know. What I do want is him to fight David Benavidez. He is a very tall guy. He is 6'2", and Canelo is about 5'8". So he's a very tall person for him. He's very skilled. Is Canelo ducking him? Probably, because he's a very tall guy, and I don't know, man. Benavidez can actually give him problems in the ring. That's the fight to make. Like, that should be the last fight for Canelo. Like, if he loses that fight, he should call it quits there. Like, I feel like if Benavidez beats Canelo, that should be like passing of the torch. Benavidez becomes like the new Canelo of this new generation, and Canelo retires, and he could do anything he wants right after. He said he enjoys the sport of golf in his spare time, and probably he wants to compete on that. He said he really likes the sport. You know, I actually saw a movie called The Greatest Game Ever Played. It's the one with Shia LaBeouf. That's a very interesting movie. If I had seen that movie when I was young, I probably would have hated it. I would have said that this movie is boring. But now that I am an adult, I have to say that this movie was a pretty good one. This is very inspiring, man. It's a very inspiring movie to see on Disney Plus. I'm not plugging Disney Plus or anything, but it's just an enjoyable movie. I saw it like 2 weeks back, and I do recommend it, man. The premise of the movie might sound boring, but the movie is good. I liked it. But now going back to Canelo. Canelo should definitely fight Benavidez. If he actually loses to Bivol again, I don't know, man. Can he actually beat Bivol? That is the question. Bivol might actually expose him, and probably he'll just try to go for the attack all at once, because he was attacking him a lot in the very first match, but he was being very technical as well. But now that he saw this fight, I'm sure that Bivol is gonna watch the Jon Ryder fight he just had, and he's gonna try to expose Canelo, man. Ooh, it's gonna be a one hell of a fight. And people do say, like the fans and even his haters say that he is not in his prime anymore. And that could be true, man. Because with time, you just get older, and your body cannot take the hits anymore when you're boxing for a very long time. And I think that's what's happening with Canelo, man. I feel like he's going to retire very soon. Maybe in the next 2 to 3 years. Say, I'm guessing probably in 2025 or so. Maybe he'll call it quits. He said on an interview that he was planning to retire like in 2027, 2028. But I don't know, man. If he loses again to Bivol, maybe that would change his mind. Definitely if he loses to Benavidez. That's the fight to make, man. You know, I was a little bit worried that Benavidez was not going to have a chance against Canelo when he fought Caleb Plant, because he couldn't knock them down. Canelo knocked him down on the 11th round, and Benavidez couldn't. He was just punishing him the whole time. And like Caleb Plant's nose was bleeding and shit. It was crazy. That was a very good fight. Caleb Plant was very humble, man, on his loss against David Benavidez. He was very surprised when he lost against Canelo, because that was his actual loss. And it was the first time in his career that he has ever been knocked down. So yeah, man. Caleb Plant is an awesome fighter. He just talks trash when somebody else talks bad about him. I respect him, man. Caleb Plant is one of the best humble boxers of this generation, I have to say. But yeah, like I said, man, Canelo versus Benavidez, that is the fight to make. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it has to, man. It has to happen very soon. Speaking of boxing, I would like to speak to you about Rolly Romero. He is fighting for a champion tonight. I usually record my podcast on Saturdays, and probably by the time you're listening to this podcast, you might know who won between Rolly Romero and Barroso. That's the guy he's fighting next. He's fighting for a title in the 140 division. I'm not saying that this is going to be an easy fight for Rolly Romero, but it probably could be. The guy he's facing, Barroso, he has had over 24 wins and 22 knockouts. Now that's a very skilled fighter. Now I don't really remember how many losses he has had. I know he has one title, I believe. But that ratio, 22 knockouts, Rolly needs to watch out, man. That guy is dangerous. Even though he is 40 years old, he can still probably kick his ass. Have you guys ever seen Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman? Yeah, go check out that fight. Pac-Man was 41 years old and Keith Thurman was in his early 30s. Manny Pacquiao knocked him down in the very first round, and they kept on going after that knockdown. So, I don't know, man. It's boxing. Anything can happen, man. Now, I want to speak to you about the TV show called The Winchesters. I talked about it a few weeks back that I kind of wasn't enjoying this TV show as much. I actually did stop watching this show around episode 4. Like, it kind of I don't want to be mean, but it just got boring, man. I just felt like it just wasn't as good as Supernatural. I feel like it was just a step back from what we already know from Supernatural. We didn't really need a prequel. I feel like they should make a continuation of Supernatural. That's what will make people that are fans from Supernatural come back and watch more of this TV show. But now this show, The Winchesters, man, it got canceled. Yeah, man. It really did. It got canceled. I just saw it yesterday on my timeline on Twitter. The CW canceled it and they're not going to move forward with it. Yeah, that just really sucks for them. Hopefully they'll make something else for Supernatural. But like as of right now, that's all we really know. The Winchesters is canceled and it's not coming back for a second season. And now speaking of the Winchesters, I would like to speak to you about the Steam Deck. It finally has competition. The next handheld device that is coming out on June, it is called the Asus it's called the Asus ROG Ally. That's what it's called. I seen the device, and you know what? That's cool. That's awesome that the Steam Deck is getting competition. Before there were other handheld devices, before there was a Steam Deck device, we had a PSP. You guys ever remember playing or seeing the PSP on TV? Those were very fun days, man. I remember playing the PSP, but then it just got ruined because I think I just left it on the charger for way too long, and that's why it just stopped working all of a sudden. But then I got the PS Vita, and the only reason why I got it was because of the Uncharted Golden Abyss game. I couldn't wait to play it, and I liked it. It was an awesome game. But I believe that game wasn't really canon to the main story games of Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I don't think it wasn't really canon. Yeah, but like I said, the Steam Deck has competition now. The Asus ROG Ally. This handheld device costs $700. And it seems like it's a good device. I'll probably might not get it because since I'm really happy with my Steam Deck. Maybe if my Steam Deck breaks or something, I will go for the Asus ROG Ally. But as of right now, I'm just happy with my Steam Deck, man. It's the best system I've ever bought in for a game console, man. It's such a great system. I'm just enjoying playing these games on a handheld device, man. That's all I ever wanted on a system. Like, I haven't really been playing my PlayStation 5 for the longest. I usually just play with my handheld device, the Steam Deck, most of the time. But there's this other app that you can just connect your PlayStation 5 to the Steam Deck. It lets you do that, and you'll be able to play your PlayStation 5 games on your Steam Deck. It's just an amazing portable device, man. That, damn, it's just so cool that Valve actually made this device. But now they have competition, and the competition, it could be real. We're going to see probably in June. If the Asus ROG Ally sells very well, then yeah, they have good competition. You know, the device, it kind of did remind me of the Xbox controller in a way, because the color of the system is white, and also the sticks, the right stick is kind of in the bottom in a way. The Steam Deck only has track pads on the bottom side, and also the sticks, they're like in the same row. They're not like separated at all. I feel like I will feel very uncomfortable playing with the Asus ROG Ally, and that's why I have to say that the Steam Deck for me just works very well. I'm happy with my Steam Deck. Maybe down the line, if it goes down in price, I will get the Asus ROG Ally. If the Asus ROG Ally becomes competition to the Steam Deck, this is like PlayStation going up against the Xbox. Usually, that's what happens. We have had on the past the WWE versus AEW. We have had Marvel versus DC. And now we have the Steam Deck, PlayStation in a way, and the Asus ROG Ally, the Xbox in a way. If these two come together, it's going to be a war. So yeah, man, I'm excited. If they actually do put more new games on these devices. We'll see, man. We'll see what's in store for the future. Alrighty, guys, I think that is it for this podcast. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a big thumbs up on YouTube if you're listening to it from there, and also subscribe to the channel on wherever it is you're listening to it. Make sure to also recommend it to a friend or a neighbor or someone that likes to hear stuff about horror or combat sports. Maybe they will enjoy it as well, as much as you do. Anyways, guys, thank you so much again for listening to this podcast, and thank you for always tuning in to the podcast as well. I've seen that we've been getting viewers lately on YouTube, and thank you again for always coming back and watching and listening to the podcast. Anyways, guys, that is it for this podcast. Thank you so much. As always, guys, take care and live to the fullest. Bye.